Hey guys, remember I sold almost all of my luxury bags to buy this fixer-upper sight unseen? Well, it turned out to be completely uninhabitable. And today I'm breaking down exactly the mistakes I made and what it cost me to go from this to this. I'm going to explain all the things I wish I knew before signing those papers. Honestly, this isn't the only time I learned this lesson the hard way. Stay to the end because I'm going to share where my head's at with my bathroom renovation as well. Hey guys, so let me just rewind a little bit and tell you about why we picked this home. Okay, so I like to scroll on Zillow. I'm sure many of you guys do too. And this was like the cheapest, most affordable house that I could find. And it was under 50K. Actually, it was under 40K. Actually, it was under 35K. So it was like too good to be true. And I wanted to get something else up in Syracuse, but my husband was like, no, pick this one. Because Syracuse, they've got a lot of nice older Victorians that are just like in disrepair and for sale for really cheap, right? But then it has like a high crime rate. And I chose this city because it's a little more historic. This is a place where the birthplace of parks. That's how the whole like city park thing came about. They've got museums. Anyways, a lot of rich heritage, good universities, etc. So we bought it. It was completely worse than what we thought. It was nice because it had a lot of frontage, because the house in front burned down, but the whole inside was a hot mess. It was soggy, and it all resulted because of the roof. There was a hole in the roof that was never fixed. Back east weather slowly just started to come and like wreak havoc. And so I was like, okay, I'll just get this property. I'll take my time. I'll do renovations as I go because, you know, I love home decor. I've been watching home decor and renovations since I was a little girl, like 12, 13. Do you guys remember those cheesy shows on HGTV, like Design on a Dime, all those shows? I was an avid HGTV goer. HGTV first became a thing. I was a loyal watcher, okay? So I always loved design. You see, I've renovated and designed my whole home. Anyways, so I'm always up for a project, up for a challenge. But buyer beware. If it's too cheap, it's too good to be true. So what happened? Like a few months after we closed on the property, really easy to close, right? Because when you do like a cash offer, it's really easy. We started getting letters from the court, so we had to fly out there. So we had to pay for hotels, pay for food, pay for airfare, okay? Just for them to say, it looks like shit. Fix these things. You need to fix the roof, the siding, the porch, the trash, the debris, the weeds. Mind you, I have been getting the place, the lawn upkeep every other week. I have the lawn mowed. But it was like they were having a problem with it. And it's like, look, we didn't buy this place with like a time frame of, oh, you got to fix it up within 6 months. We bought it to take our time as a project. So anyhow, after the first year, we fixed the roof. That was 12K. Then that wasn't good enough. We were getting letters of the court to come back even after we showed them the roof. They're like, well, what about the siding? It took us another year because each project, these aren't cheap projects. Like the roof, 10K. The siding, 20K. And so the chimney, another 1,500. The porch, we just ripped out the porch. So we're gonna have that fixed, but there's like a whole laundry list of items they want us to fix. There's like 10 things. But it's ended up being a money pit. And the reason why I'm sharing this story, because you can prevent this from happening to you. Don't go for the cheapest house. And if it is the cheapest house, ask the seller why they're selling. Check to see if there's any encumbrances, any liens, any like court-ordered appearances, because sometimes people are just passing the buck. They're passing their problem to you. So now their problem is now your problem. And so we've had to get a lawyer. It hasn't been fun, you know? And so it's just another lesson on how not to cut costs. So one more thing. So I replaced the siding and I wanted to go bold. I wanted to go dark. I wanted to go moody. I wanted to go like olive green. I wanted to make a statement. But I was like, look, the place is only like 900 square feet. I'm gonna play it safe. So out of the whole list of siding, I just picked this color, which I think is called bone. I was gonna go with, I forget the other color, the color at the bottom, but I ended up going with bone and a white trim. And I think it looks good. It makes the place look bigger. And another thing is, Actually, there's a lot right next to it that's for sale that I'm gonna get. That way the property can go from 3,500 square feet to 7,500 square feet. I think that'll probably be one of our most smartest investments, because it's basically like taking something you already own and swallowing up the lot next to it. You know what I mean? So you have more opportunity to build, more opportunity to make some money when you resell it. So yeah, so the lot next to it is listed for 10.5, but we're gonna get it for 9. So I feel like that's a smart investment, because I've made some bad investments. But yeah, but I wanna show you another area where when you cut costs, it doesn't pay off. Okay, so now I'm in my bathroom, and I wanna talk about how I decided to go cheap. Okay, so I had originally used this in my primary bath, and it has a lot of movement, a lot of nice, like moodiness. Kind of to me looks like limestone. Okay, so there's several ways you can cut costs on your home renovation, right? You can buy salvage materials, you can do a lot of the stuff yourself. You can have a family member do some of the work. So my husband and I, we decided to put up the tiles. First of all, let me rewind it. I got the tiles, 90 cents each on Facebook Marketplace, in their pink Rosa marble. They look like this, really beautiful. These would normally, 12 by 12 piece, cost about 10 bucks each. I got it for 90 cents. Okay, so I had this color palette. If I had $1 million, I wouldn't have picked pink. But I have this and I'm gonna make it work. So I have this marble, right? But then I was like, it's so porous and marble isn't the best in terms of staining. So I was like, I need something like probably porcelain tile to go on the floor, because I don't want to have to worry about cracks. I don't want to have to worry about water spots and all that. So I went to Home Depot and they had this. It was super cheap, right? It was this. Now it's like gray, but I don't love it. So here I am trying to make like a beautiful luxury bath, and I don't love the floor I picked. But the reason why I picked it, I was trying to save money. So in addition, I have these marble tiles that I got from Creative Tile. They're all different, they're all marble. And so I'm gonna make a border, right? I'm gonna make a border like this. But I'm not gonna settle for the floor. I'm gonna bite the bullet and I'm gonna go more expensive and use this moody tile that I had picked for this master bath. Because what I've learned is that when you try to cut corners with home decor, it never pays off. So if you've learned anything from this video, it's don't go cheap, because you always pay more in the end. And I'll see you guys in the next video, and we'll finish my bathroom renovation. Bye. I may never know.